When you're a copywriter, you know all of the right things that needs to be said in the video, how you're going to convert your audience from being a viewer to maybe an email subscriber, or even getting a course or something that you're offering in your business. However, if it's something and some things that you're doing to distract them in your videos, they may not make it all the way to that selling point that you actually need them to watch. Well, hey there, copywriters. My name is Diana Gladney, here to be a co-host here on the Ray Edwards YouTube channel. And I want to share with you some of the 5 mistakes that I see copywriters making when it comes to video content. Specifically, let's talk about YouTube, LinkedIn. Doesn't matter if it's a Facebook video, this will apply no matter what you're doing. So let's get into these mistakes. Mistake number 1 is not looking into the lens of the camera. Most of the time when you're creating your video content, especially if you're not a video expert, you're not used to making videos, you can get used to looking at yourself, because there's something normal, similar to when you're looking in the mirror, to just looking at yourself. However, it does come across as very weird, and your audience can sense that disconnect when you're not looking at them, which is into the lens of the camera. Whether you're recording with your smartphone or whether you're actually recording with a dedicated camera, you need to look into the lens, not the screen of the camera and not the screen of your computer if you're using a setup similar to what I'm using right now. And that helps to, 1, keep a personal connection with your audience. It's like looking them directly in the eye. And number 2, it makes them feel like you're actually talking to them instead of talking to essentially yourself. So when you're looking into the lens of your camera, even on your smartphone, you want to keep connection and focus there. Is it okay to occasionally glance at the computer, at the screen, if you need to verify something is correct, or if you need to look down and pull up a document or something similar to like a live stream? Sure, that's completely fine. However, when you're making your videos, do exactly like I'm doing right now, which is keep that connection with the audience and keep looking at the lens of your camera. Mistake number 2 that I see commonly in videos is that your videos are overexposed. Now, this is a video term that you'll hear when I'm sharing this and I'm educating entrepreneurs on how to create better video content. I have to teach them sometimes some of the terminology when it comes to video, and you'll commonly hear this phrase sometime if you're looking at photography, cinematography videos, or what have you, even across YouTube. You'll hear a phrase called overexposed. And what this means is that your videos are too bright. Now, whether that's the lights that are too bright and it's reflecting on your skin, and you'll see what I call hot spots, which are easy to identify. You can look at your cheeks, look at your nose, look at your forehead, maybe even sometimes your chin. If you see bright spots on your skin, then that is what I consider a hot spot. It's basically saying that your lights that are facing you, even your computer screen, it's too bright and your camera isn't able to focus, or you're letting your camera figure things out by itself and it's in automatic. And so what the camera has determined is it kind of doesn't know, or it's focusing for something else, or exposing or trying to find the right light brightness on something else instead of your face. If you're using a smartphone, this can be easily solved by simply tapping on the screen so it can stop maybe trying to figure out what everything should be in the video, instead of knowing I'm the center point of focus and I'm the main thing that should be getting accounted for lighting, for focus, for everything. If you're using a regular camera, most cameras, modern days cameras, have the ability to tap on the screen, and it will be able to track focus on you better if it doesn't do that very well, depending on what brand you're using. But most cameras, for the most part, can figure this out. But if you are using a dedicated camera, there are certain settings that are in your camera, and I'm not going to go too technical here, but there are some settings that can make your videos super bright. One of these common ones is ISO. You'll see this on your camera sometimes in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, and the larger this number is, the brighter the image that you're looking at on your camera is going to be. You don't want to obviously sit in the dark unless you want a darker video frame, but you do want to make sure that your skin is evenly exposed, or it looks normal on camera. What I like to do to test for this is just to hold the palm of my hand up, because no matter what your skin tones or the hue of your skin is, this is going to be the lightest portion for the most part for our skin. Whereas if I flip my hand over, it's slightly darker. Whether you have a tan or whether you have a darker hue like I do, then you'll notice that you won't see it to be as bright. But I like to make sure, can I see all the details in my hand, and is my hand easy to be seen on camera? If I notice that when I hold my hand up that it's too bright, then that's telling me I need to either make some adjustments on my camera, or maybe even turn down the brightness of my lights. Just because they can go to 100% don't mean that we should keep them at 100%. So I want to make sure I'm starting to see the details of my hand, and that I'm not overexposed. When you're too dark and you're not able to see hardly anything, or it kind of has a muddy grayish look to the video, that's called underexposed. So it's not about trying to be too bright or too dark. We just really are looking for a happy medium. But I most commonly see this, especially like if you're using a webcam or a smartphone and you're not adjusting any of the settings or adjusting anything really, it sometimes can make you be too bright. So take that into consideration and maybe get more familiar with your camera, no matter what that camera source is, or get more familiar with your lights so that you can get great looking videos that are consistent. No matter how many times you're creating videos, they all look great. So make sure your videos aren't too bright. The third mistake is bad audio. I see this all the time. If you are doing calls, whether that is a Zoom conference call, or maybe you're working with your own clients, or you're doing videos for your live streams and your YouTube channels and the like, you need great audio every single time. Your audience, whether they are familiar with camera and stuff or not, it doesn't matter, but everyone is very sensitive when it comes to the audio experience that you're giving them. If it sounded like you're trying to force to listen to me down the hall, you're not going to be really keen on listening to the video at all. But if it sounds like I'm using iPhone headphones or something and you constantly hear it brush up against my hair or my shirt, that becomes distracting. So you want to take an account of what audio sources are you using. Now, I recommend if you're at a desk setup or something like that, get a podcast style microphone. I recommend microphones like the Youre SM7B that I'm currently using, the Youre MV7 that's USB as well as XLR, even a microphone like the Samson Q2U that's also USB and XLR that works really well. So no matter what setup that you have, it will work really well to give you great audio, reject background noise, even if you're recording in a non-treated audio environment, meaning you don't have any like foam panels and stuff on the wall to kind of reject some of the echoes and stuff in the room. And if you're an entrepreneur like most of us are, you probably don't have any of that typical video creator stuff. You're just recording in maybe in your home or in your home office or your regular studio office. Regardless as to where you record, you need to have great audio. So think about, where am I recording most commonly and what's the best microphone that I can use in that environment? If it's at a desk, go with the podcast style microphone, one that's like a cardioid dynamic microphone instead of a condenser omnidirectional style microphone. Those microphones are really sensitive and they tend to pick up all the noise around you. Instead of a microphone like this, it's more prone to reject background noise, and it's tend to reject even some of the echoes and the things that you may hear in a video. So make sure that you're picking a great microphone depending on what you're doing so that your audio sounds great. And if you're doing something where maybe the microphone's mounted to the top of the camera, same rules apply to make sure that you get a microphone that's great for what you're doing, that the source of the microphone is close enough to you, which makes sure that you're not picking up a lot of environmental noise, so you're getting great audio. There's all kind of microphone options out there, but make sure you're at least using a good one. Even a lapel microphone is a great option when you're making videos specifically with dedicated cameras or using your smartphone. Mistake number 4 is long, awkward pauses that are left in the videos. Now, you don't have to be some video editor, and I don't expect you to be. However, you do want to start learning some of the best practices when it comes to creating video content. And one of the best practices is making sure you're taking out the weird parts of your videos. Now, there's what's called Aroll, which is exactly what you're looking at right now. It's your primary content source. Then you have what's called B-roll. This is where you see stock footage, whether it's from a website like Storyblocks, and maybe we'll have a cat or something, if we're describing an example of a cat, come across the screen. Then you'll see that there's something on top of that video. Now, that's the difference between A-roll and B-roll. So if you're doing something, you're giving an example, you can break it up by adding in various B-roll to give examples of what you're talking about. So for example, if I say, if you're writing in a book and you're journaling, ... then in this example, as I'm speaking, we're going to add on a video clip that's most relevant to what I'm describing or what I'm talking about. This is what we call the say, show, and spell method. When I'm saying something, I'm going to show it on the screen so that the audience can see it or have some visual representation of what I'm talking about. And if it's something that's difficult or something that they need to see, it's easier for them to digest, we're going to spell that item as well on the screen for them. This helps you to break up some of those long, awkward pauses. And honestly, it's something that that not even your audience wants to watch. And if we're being very honest, it just really boils down to being lazy when it comes to the editing. You don't have to be a video expert, but it's just to say, if I watch this back, and I'm not being super judgmental or critical of myself, but if I'm watching this video of myself, am I getting bored looking at it? And should I take maybe some parts out that I originally recorded that probably isn't that great? And that also includes the long, awkward pauses. So if you're rewatching your videos before you upload it to wherever your audience is, whether that's on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, just make sure that you're taking out these long, awkward pauses in addition to maybe sometimes pieces of the content that aren't that relevant. Mistake number 5, this one is a biggie, not getting to the point. When you're first making videos, it's understandable that there's going to be mistakes. Everyone has them. I keep even all of my old videos. Please don't go back and watch those on my YouTube channel. But it's to show us historical reference in the library of content that I've created over the years, from the good to the bad, from the great to the horrible. Either way, those videos remain persistent and consistent on the channel. And I'll even see when YouTube is kind of recommending some of them, depending on what's trending or what have you, and someone will see it. But there's still some parts of the videos that if I were to do it again with what I know today, I would take a lot of the fluff out. And the fluff content is basically to say, what's the main point of the video that you're making? Now, when you're reviewing your video, whether you're getting that back from your video editor, you're scripting out the video to decide what are the points and the tips or the talking points of that piece of content, what pieces need to be taken out of that video so that we can get to the point. This is especially crucial when it comes to YouTube and those first 30 seconds of the video. Scratch that, it's really the first 5, 8, and 15 seconds of the video, because that's when if you notice, a lot of my clients, especially when I'm working with them, I will see that there is a huge nosedive at the beginning of the video, and it's usually between that time range. Why is that? It's because they're not getting to the point. One of the things I prize myself on in our brand and the Video Simplified company is getting to the point. People already have researched the topic. Maybe they've already put it in the search bar on YouTube. They've watched other videos. So you have to remember, you're not their video number 1. You're their video number 100 a lot of times. You're not the first person that they're actually seeing in regards to the problem or researching a topic or issue or question that they have. We know from the Pasture Framework that Ray teaches that it's always going to be about the person, the problem, and their pain point. I alter that for video content to the right now pain point. Now, if you're thinking about the right now pain point that your audience is having, they have already seen the thumbnail, they see the title of their video. So why is it taking 2 or 3 minutes before you're getting to the main point of why they clicked on the video? A lot of videos that I see from copywriters, especially even just being very honest, a lot of clients that Ray works with, and I'll check out some of their content, they're just not getting to the point soon enough. And so if this is a little bit of stepping on your toes, it's okay. Because it's one of the passages I like to say, if I step on your toes, that's okay, because God will heal your toes. So just remember that if you're creating videos, what can you take out that helps you get to the point faster? Assume that your audience already knows what you're talking about. The only thing that we need to clarify in the beginning of the video is, are they in the right spot? Should they go to another video that you made? Is there a common mistake or error that's usually around this topic that maybe just needs to be clarified very quickly? You just need to make sure that the person that clicked on the video knows that this is the right video for them or this is not the right video for them. And that can be done literally within those first couple seconds, what you're going to talk about. And by 30 seconds into the video, if not sooner, you should be into the main reasons for why that person clicked on the video. Now, once you've done the hard work of making a good, relevant video for your potential copywriting clients, what happens when they get through the videos? Maybe they leave a comment, but they're not actually converting. Well, Ray actually did a video telling you all of the reasons that your copywriting clients may not be converting. And that video is coming up next on the screen. Make sure you check it out because I know you'll get a ton of value out of it.